Hello, and welcome to another beer review by Food Scouts. I will get started on this, but my room is a fucking shithole. I got back off tour, dumped everything all over the place, so give me 2 seconds while I tidy up.
I'm awake again, staying away from the internet. My friend Matt told me not to like that shit. No, you're married.
Right, so I'm really excited to review this beer. Actually, that's a lie. So I'm not sure how excited I am to try this beer. I'm sure you hear me rant for ages about my thoughts on fruit beers in other reviews. Some get it bang on the nail, sometimes it's so awfully wrong. This is a Kriek Lambic beer, which probably means it's going to be really good, but not quite to my tasting, mainly because I generally recommend beers like this to wine lovers. However, I haven't tried it yet, so I have no idea why I'm saying this. Let's give it a go. So, the Mort Subite Kriek Lambic beer, as expected, very, very dark colour, almost leaning towards a wine colour. It's almost as if you do, lager and black. I'm not sure if you've ever done lager and black, but I'm sure that's not how it tastes. That's just the impression I get when I hear of a Kriek Lambic. When I hear of any fruit beer, I think lager and black, which is something I used to do when I was really young. So, I'd love to hear about the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of a fruit beer. Is it like me where you're a bit put off, or are you eager to try it? Now, this was actually chosen because it's a really easy beer to find in most shops, and it's the one that stands out as different, as unique. It's not a standard lager. I'm chatting shit again, I am not getting to the point. Let's drink some beer. Now, unfortunately, this is exactly what I expected. I'm sure other people will love this beer, and I'm sure my girlfriend is a huge ambassador of how incredible it is. But this reminds me of something like a recordileg, almost like a fruit cider as opposed to an actual beer. It makes me think of juice, it makes me think of Schlur, it makes me think of a soft drink. It does not make me think of a high quality beer. The flavours I get in my mouth are almost artificial as opposed to genuine. I will update you on whether that improves as I get down the beer, but it is incredibly sweet, incredibly sweet. Can I see myself drinking this all day long? Yeah, I can. I think if you go into a corner shop and this is a beer they've got and it's a hot summer's day, this would be an excellent drink to grab a bunch of bottles, go down to the park and drink it throughout the day, especially if you lean towards recordileg, ciders, fruity beers. I'd obviously choose something else, but I can see people absolutely loving this beer. It's really easy to get into, and in fact, if you're talking to someone who hates beer, which is what some people say, and you recommend them this, they're probably going to tell you it's not beer at all. But they'll probably start being interested in the process, being interested in the options that they've got, which is obviously a good place to get people out with beer. So, a beer for me? No. A beer to introduce other people to? Absolutely. If people say they hate beer, get them trying this. It might just change their mind. It might open their mind to the fact that there's lots of options within beer, that it's not just the one that they hate. Fruit pairing wise, I think I've got it quite easy with this one because it's got to be a dessert beer. Because it cuts through way too much to put with most meals, and I'm sure again that you'd recommend something that would be suitable. I'd love to hear what you place it with in an actual main meal, but for me, I would love to place it with meringue. I think it would just cut across perfectly. You could almost have it instead of any of the berries on the meringue, and just have meringue, that and a bite of meringue, which I'm sure people were like, what the hell are you doing? Why the fuck would you have meringue on its own? I used to eat like raw meringue when I was a kid, and I'm not even sure if that's the thing. I'm not even sure if I was at risk of dying or something, but that's a memory I've got. So yeah, for me, some meringue, incredible meringue, beautiful big white puffy meringue, and this would be amazing. Of course, you can go all the way and have all the berries and cream and the meringue, and then have this as a dessert beer with it, and I think it'd be incredible. So it is a 4% beer, which means that if you did decide to grab a load, go down to the park and drink it all day in the summer, you'd be fine, unless you really can't handle your alcohol. In fact, I think it's a great beer to drink throughout the day at this percentage. Obviously, a session beer between 3.2 and 4.2, 4.5% I think is a good session beer. Again, this wouldn't be for me. Although if you're trying to get someone to stop drinking cider and drink beer, you could recommend them this. In my mind, it's pretty much the same. I am sure people are going to slaughter me for saying that, but yeah, I think that it is a good starter beer. It is a good cherry beer. It is a good lambic. It's not the best lambic I've tasted. It's very on the side of slur, as I said before. That can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing. It depends what you want. If you just want to get hammered and you want something that tastes like slur, hey, it might be a perfect drink. For me, I prefer something with a higher percentage, more full-on flavour that actually comes from the hops within. The interesting thing about this beer that does make it stand out from the rest is that although it's got a very artificial flavour, like I said before, it cuts across incredibly, it does actually use real berries. Now, the back says, fresh sour cherries, 1.2%, elderberry extract, aromas, well-used hop extracts. And it's actually got juice from concentrate of sour cherries as well, which is incredibly interesting, I find. The fact that they've actually used real cherry juice and not just flavouring, it is a great selling point. I'm sure, again, you can encourage other people to try it who like cider because of that. However, for me, it doesn't really add any value to the taste of it. I still think it tastes like slur. If I was... it would probably be the first beer I would give my child when they're a certain age, because it's that kind of drink. So yeah, are there any beers that you would actually recommend, fruit beers that you think I will love? We've talked about Brewski, they do some fruit beers that I really like. I love the idea of IPAs on the fruity side. Prefer staying away from anything that tastes too much like slur like this. However, again, it's not a bad beer. I think it's a great beer.
Your life isn't that fun.
So thanks for watching. My name's Miz. We are Food Scouts. This is the Mort Subite, a Kriek Lambic cherry beer. I'm sure other people love it, just not for me. I would love to hear your thoughts though. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back real soon.